Okay, we're in the Daniel Cormier Bigfoot Silva fight. We're going to talk through Daniel's lovely single leg to sweep, and I'm going to not try and make this very technical, but I'm going to try and talk through all the details of what is going on. So, we're at quite the early part of the fight, and they're just sort of feeling each other out. They're touching each other's guard and they're just kind of getting an idea and a concept of distance. Silver's already worked out that Daniel tends to bring his hands up high, but he has his elbows out. So as Silver sees after a few touches that he's going to get both hands up, then Silver is going to throw this beautiful body kick into Daniel. Okay, absolutely gorgeous, very heavy. Daniel's response to this is to collapse his elbow down and compress the ankle. I mean, if we see it a little bit earlier, we can see that he captures this with his bicep and his elbow. As a fighter, please remember that when you're dealing with kicks, you should be never reaching down to block them down here, because after a few fakes, if you're reaching down, then this is going to come outside the arm and it's going to bonk you in the head. Alright, so don't do that. So this is a beautiful body kick. Daniel's caught it at the elbow, and we're going to see Silva use beautiful technique. He's going to try and extricate his leg from that by turning his hips back out again and straightening his leg, then lifting his knee, which, because there's no boots on here and stuff like that, should mean that he can get his leg out. It's what he's been taught in every Thai boxing class that he's ever been to. So he turns his hip and he lifts his knee, which would normally drag out that leg. But in this case, we have Daniel capture it with his left hand. We're going to see what pro fighters are like now at this level, because we're going to see a right cross thrown in response to this by Bigfoot. He's going to try and knock Daniel's head off. So even though he's got his balance compromised and stuff, he's still thinking about creating some damage. And we're going to see even higher pro fighter status by Daniel getting his head out of the way. Daniel's going to collect the ankle with both hands, and he's going to see this right cross coming in from hell from the big silver dude. If I can make it move. And he doesn't level change for the sake of wrestling at this point. He level changes so that he doesn't get his head knocked off. But we're now seeing that he's captured both ankles. He's captured the ankle with both wrists, and he's holding that foot from being stomped down. So Silva wants to stomp that foot down by having the power line up here. So he's got all the power. They're pushing down on arms that are bent and then through legs, which means that this power line, he can't stamp down through there. So if the leg was over here and he tried to stamp down, then Daniel would not be able to hold it because the legs are over here. He just won't have the strength. So we're going to see Daniel duck this lovely cross, and he's going to slide his arm and elbow up so that the elbow goes deep underneath the knee. This shortens the lever that will support this leg. So imagine if Daniel tried to put his hand under here and Bigfoot Silva wanted to kick his leg down, then it'd be really easy for him to do that. But what Daniel is going to do is he's going to drive his arm up and he's going to collect all of Silva's weight on his bicep. His shoulder's really close to the knee, his head's really close to the knee, and because his weight is under him, his own weight is under him, then Silva's basically being lifted by Daniel's body position. So there's a line of power through here. Again, if Daniel's legs were over here, then Silva would find it very easy to kick his leg down. He's shortened the lever by getting it to the elbow, and he's got his head and shoulder close to the knee so that he can power up in this direction. What he's going to do now is he's going to lift Silva. He's going to lift him up and towards the referee slightly. This is going to make Silva have to hop to get his foot back underneath him. So we can see him drive him up and make him hop. So Silva needs to remove his foot from here, and to keep his balance, put his foot down somewhere over here. And DC's response to this is he's already got the power and the body moving, so now he can use this leg for something else. So he's going to take the flat of his foot and land it directly on the calf. So he's going to throw that foot at the calf. Buff. And what that does is it collapses that straight leg. If you've ever had a friend walk up to you when you stood straight-legged and push your knee, you get that jarring sensation. That's basically what he's done. And then what he's going to do is going to continue with what every judoka in the world would be very envious with. He's going to drive with that flat foot and his hip, and he's going to push that leg through. Absolutely gorgeous bit of judo there by this great wrestler. Okay, this is where I find it difficult to differentiate the grappling arts because they're all really the same thing, they just have different rules. At the same time, we've had Daniel create this movement pattern by driving Bigfoot in this direction. He's now going to drive the knee back over Bigfoot Silva's hips, which means that the knee is going to go in this direction, the hips are going to go in this direction, and the leg is going to go in this direction. So the leg's going to go through, and the hips are going to come back towards us. So you can see him change direction with the drive on the knee, and he throws our Silva to his back. It's absolutely beautiful sweep, absolutely beautiful change of direction, and a beautiful lift. So, just little details here as well. How can we tell that Silva is a jiu-jitsu guy? If I was in the corner at this point and I didn't know anything about Silva, I would know that he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's not posted, he's not landed on an elbow or anything like that. He's not trying to sit up, he's not trying to make distance from Daniel. Also, we look like he's playing for some kind of open game ankle control. Open guard ankle control game. So, yeah, we would guess that this guy is a jiu-jitsu guy, and guess what, he is. This is early on in the fight, so they're both pretty dry, and I think Daniel's game plan was to beat up Bigfoot until he didn't have to worry too much about his jiu-jitsu. So he thinks for a moment about diving into that guard, and then he goes, no, that would be really stupid. So he backs out, and he says, hey, let's stand up, I want to hit you instead of get triangled. And my favourite bit is where he just checks the clock. Just to check out the time, see how it's going. Really, really lovely sweeping single leg, and if you can do it and add it to your game, please do. It's wonderful. If you can't add it to your game, you're just like me, so don't worry. It's okay. Bye.